All right, how's it going, everybody? I'm going to be doing another video talking about, what I always talk about on this channel, which is depersonalization, depression, mental health. So this video is going to be two parts. The first part is just going to be what I'm currently doing. So if you're looking for ways to improve your life, I'll just be talking about these for a little bit, and then the second part of the video is going to be talking about the guy I've been learning from and how my theories that I've presented on this channel have been right and wrong. So basically, just to put it out there, my theories aren't wrong. It's just that you can take a more fundamental approach than kind of the methodology I've talked about. So in terms of I would always talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I would talk about, using your day productively to meet your needs. But basically, you can do that more on a psychological level than an external level, according to the guy I've been learning from. So I'll be talking about that more in the second part of the video. So you can skip to that if you want. For now, I'm just going to talk about the three things I'm doing, kind of four things I'm currently doing to try to help myself out. So the first one is routine. And, if you're a functional adult, then you probably already have a routine. But basically, I find that if you don't have a consistent wake and sleep time, you are going to be spending a lot of energy just making not stupid, but decisions that you don't need to be making about waking and sleeping. What am I going to have to eat today? Am I going to have coffee? Am I not going to have coffee? In my opinion, you should just do your best to systemize all of this. So what I've done, which has helped me, is have a consistent sleep schedule, like I already mentioned. And I think you should just obviously do that. But to be honest, it's not. I think it's very important for being a functional person, but in terms of depersonalization recovery, it is not the most important. So take that for what you will, or as you will, whatever the saying is. So the next one is weightlifting. So I think anyone can get into weightlifting. If you're a girl, you're not going to turn into the Hulk. And if you're a guy, it's just going to make you feel stronger and more manly, which is what most guys want. And it's also great for mental health, just getting endorphins, and also going going to a gym, if you can, just seeing people and trying to progress. It just hits on multiple levels of satisfaction and life improvement. So I definitely recommend doing that. And then specifically to depersonalization, I have found, I don't know if I've talked about this on this channel, but I found that doing extremely intense workouts actually helps my depersonalization a lot. And I've seen other people say the same thing. And so this kind of hints at what I've been learning about, which I'm going to be talking about in just a few minutes. But basically, the theory is that, this is my theory. No one's ever said this to me, or I've never read it anywhere. But the theory is that with depersonalization, you've got a lack of integration between parts of your brain. I think that's well established. But basically, you've got an overactive thinking part of your brain and an underactive feeling part of your brain. I think most people would agree. And so the idea is that when I am doing intense weightlifting, you're kind of talking to yourself. I'm talking to myself okay, I have to do one more rep, or I have to do 5 more reps at this weight. And it's also very stimulating physically. It's very difficult. So it stimulates a lot of emotion. And basically the idea is that since you lack the connection between your thinking and your feeling part of your mind, you can stimulate, both of those at the same time, and it's really good for depersonalization recovery. So in this course that I've been going through, he talks about how you should stimulate both parts of your mind. And he didn't mention weightlifting, but the things he was talking about made sense, and I've had experiences that basically confirm everything he said. And so I just took it one step further and said, well, I've had that same experience with weightlifting, so it's probably the same theory at play, which is, connecting both parts of your mind. So anyway, that's a pretty long statement about weightlifting, but it has many, many benefits. It's also just good for health. I didn't even mention that. So that's another reason you should consider weightlifting. And then the last thing I've been doing, which I'm obviously hoping for great results, is going to be daily depersonalization work. So again, on my channel, I've talked about how you have to fix your life, and that will kind of fix the problems in your mind, which is true, but it's not as fundamental. It's not necessarily your psyche that you're fixing things externally. So that is certainly less important than fixing your psyche, because the external world is kind of unpredictable in a lot of ways. But if you can fix your internal world and be present, especially if you're depersonalized all the time, you're going to feel so much better just on a day-to-day basis, even if your life isn't quote unquote fixed. So anyway, about the DP work that I'm doing, depersonalization work, I'm spending time every day. So first I'm going through the course, which is actually quite long. It's 12 hours or something. But I'm, taking notes. And then I'm going to go even further with that by spending at least, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes. We'll see how things go as I progress. But I'm also going to spend a certain amount of time integrating and practicing the exercises. So there's kind of two parts. Depersonalization can be a very complicated thing, but to kind of simplify it, there's the understanding about depersonalization, which if you can't afford to pay someone to help you with it, which I don't think there's that many people in the world that really can help with this. It's just a weird problem. But so there's to bring things back into context, I'm still talking about the things that I'm doing for my own recovery. But within the recovery and within the daily depersonalization work that I'm going to be doing, there is the learning. So obviously just absorbing the information, and then there's the practice of the kind of psychological acts. So it's grounding yourself, going through exercises to heal your brain and to assure yourself that you're safe and all these things. So anyway, that's just to say that's the third thing I'm going to be doing, and I obviously hope for the best, as we all do. This seems like it makes a lot more sense than something like ketamine. Maybe something like ketamine is good for people who actually have just pure depression and they're in a funk they can't get out of. That's reasonable. But for people with depersonalization, at least according to the theories that I'm learning about, it has a lot more to do with childhood and having poor parenting. That's a whole nother subject. But now I'm going to be talking about more so about who I'm learning from, and my theories, and some examples about what you can do. So, the guy I'm learning from is a guy named Harris Harrington, and it's funny because you only his videos are never like for YouTube, for example. You get recommended videos. The only way you get recommended Harris Harrington is if you are really deep into the depersonalization rabbit hole and you've like watched all the other stuff, and then YouTube eventually recommends Harris Harrington because his channel barely gets any views these days. But yeah, so maybe like a year and a half ago or something, when I was really learning a lot about depersonalization, I came across his videos. And like I said, no one really watches his videos anymore. They never get recommended. Like my channel, for example, probably gets recommended more than his. But anyway, I still think he's probably the most educated. I don't even know, like, it's like sad to say or something if he's not around or something, but I haven't seen any new videos from him in like 6 years. I couldn't find like his Instagram page or anything, if he even had one. I don't know. So I've no clue if the guy's even still around, but his website is still up, and his videos, he, simply put, I think he's the smartest guy in this space. I think he's smarter than me. I think he's smarter than everyone else, and he's also more well read than everyone else. So his ideas make the most sense, and they draw from a lot of fundamental truths that I believe. And so again, his name is Harris Harrington. You can just YouTube him, obviously. And then his paid course is like $100 when I bought it, and it was called the Total Integration Method. And I think there's some positive reviews on there, but I guess this is like a more live review. But now I'm going to talk about like how I'm integrating it, and like again how it integrates or meshes with the things that I've been talking about on my channel. So I'm going to be reading from notes, so I'm not going to be looking at the camera at all, really. So I already mentioned this. It's true that life improvement that makes you happy will get you out of depersonalization. I've certainly experienced that when I've had big changes in my life. But the underlying problems reside in your psyche. So, I don't know if that really needs much more explaining, like I've already said. What you lack in your psyche and baseline view of the world can be remedied with exterior elements, like I just said, but it might not fix your fundamental problems. So, an example of that is like I feel undesirable in the romantic world. You can get into a relationship and solve this problem externally, so you're getting external validation that you are at least desirable to this person. But there's no guarantee that you will actually be fixed if you break up, for example. It could leave you broken and back into your original state. So you've built like a castle on sand, so to speak. And another problem that it could present is that if you end up with, and then the other problem is that like, if you're with someone, you could end up terrified to break up. And so you might even sabotage the relationship, not purposefully, but like because you act so neurotic, you could drive the other person away, and then it's like you're accidentally sabotaging the relationship out of fear. So rather, you need to address your beliefs and habitual thinking patterns, and like again, like I keep talking about your psyche and like your cognitive, like your view of the world, the thoughts that you have every day. You have to address those. So to kind of conclude, I'm not extremely well versed in this new theory from Harris Harrington. I've gone through the course before, but that was sometime around a year ago, maybe closer to 2 years now. I don't really remember. And as time has gone on and I've learned more about myself, I can understand what he's saying better. So one of the problems with the course is that it's very dense, because again, he is an extremely smart guy, and I think he probably understands concepts more easily than the average person. So he's got these really hard to digest concepts in there. But I think they're all right. Like I said, the more I've gotten to know about myself and my own psyche, the more like I understand the course. So, again, I'm not extremely well versed in his theory, and I will continue to learn about it and use it in my own life and practice daily habits to hopefully get out of depersonalization. And for what it's worth, this is like the most faith that I've ever had in someone. Like, I've talked about my experience with Ben Mayer. Again, maybe he gets people results, but what he had to tell me did not suffice. I got very little results that did not make sense on a larger scale. But anyway, I'm learning as I go, and I wanted to help anyone I can who might watch my videos and point you toward the right direction. So I'll say it once again. His name is Harris Harrington. You can just YouTube his name. And his course is called the Total Integration Method. So this is not a sponsored video or anything. And the funny thing is that like his site is barely functional, which is part of why I say I don't even know if he's still around, like still alive, because his site is so dysfunctional. But you can buy his course and like download his videos and then play them on your computer if you feel so inclined. And then the last thing is that if this does work, I'll probably be posting on this channel a lot to, spread the word, I guess, because I do believe in the things he says, and they line up with all of the things I've experienced in my life, and I have used his methods to get some results, but they weren't long lasting. But again, this video is too long to like keep going into it, but I might offer a more easy to digest version of his material and like make it my own course, or I might offer one-on-one coaching on this channel, but from this channel to whoever wants it on a different website or whatever. But again, I wanted to, the point of this video was to give people an insight into some of the things that have been helping me with my mental health, as well as the progression of my own theories and understanding of depersonalization. As I think I'm like, I've got to be in the like top 1 or half of 1% percentile for people who've been in it for the longest. If you don't know, I'm 30 years old and I've had it since I was about 8, and so I've got to be one of the most severe cases percentile wise. But anyway, best of luck to everyone. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and take care.